Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. Big yourselves up, everyone that's locked in. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here. You people know the drill. And another day, another step closer to Chelsea signing another teenager. The Blues have reportedly agreed personal terms with 17-year-old Estevao Willian from Palmeiras. Final bid's not been sent in or anything like that, but an agreement has been reached on personal terms with the 17-year-old Brazilian dubbed Little Messi. Now, I'll be totally honest, people. I don't really know very much about this kid at all. I really don't. By all accounts, he's going to be a very talented boy. I don't know an awful lot about South American football. I've heard good things about him, and he's meant to be a top talent. It's I don't know, but at the same time, maybe it's exciting. Maybe it is exciting that he's coming. That we've managed to agree terms. Of course, he wouldn't be coming until 2025. It'll be him and Kendry Paez joining in 2025. We've also got Angelo, who signed from South America. We've got Andre Santos, who signed from South America. Yes, I know we missed out on Endrick to Real Madrid. But apparently this kid really is special. As I said, I don't know an awful lot about the geezer. But what I can say is it's clear that these owners are intent on signing the best talent in South America and not to miss out constantly to the likes of Barcelona, to the likes of Real Madrid. We've seen that the South American market can be very lucrative with the likes of Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Endrick's gone now. Neymar was plucked from South America by Barcelona. There's been a number of players. Julian Alvarez was signed very cheaply from South America, as was Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea for a long time have not really been amongst it in terms of the South American market and signing top talent from South America. Now, I am fully on the belief that, is this an essential signing? No, not in my opinion. Is it what the club need right now? No, it's not. Is this a talent so great that you just can't afford to miss out on him? I don't know the answers to those questions. That's the reality of the situation. By all accounts, a very talented kid. I'll be honest, I've probably watched 5 minutes of highlights on YouTube of the guy. That's not a basis to formulate an opinion on a player. It really isn't. It's as simple as that. It's not enough to formulate an opinion on whether this guy's any good or not. But what's clear is that he's highly rated. There's a lot of fanfare about him. There's a lot of excitement around him, particularly coming out of Brazil. But again, 17 years old, won't be joining until 2025 when he's 18. My big thing is, what's the plan for all these guys? What's the plan? Kendry Paez is coming. We've got Angelo. We've got Mudryk. We've got Madueke. We've got Paez. We've got Andre Santos. All these young guys. What's the plan here? What is the plan? Is he going to come at 18 and be a part of the first team straight away? Is he going to go on loan? Are they going to send him to Strasbourg? Are they going to send him somewhere else? I don't know what the plan is here. Of course, we're going to need to acquire. We're going to need to acquire more clubs in the multi-club model because some of these guys are going to have to go on loan somewhere. There's not space for them in the squad. I understand that a lot of these players are going to be sold for profit and they're going to be flipped on. There's no denying that. All these guys are not going to make it at Chelsea. That's the reality of the situation. And do you know what? Despite all the hype around Estevao Willian, there's every chance that, do you know what? He might not be a success at Chelsea. There's a possibility that does happen. There's a possibility that Kendry Paez might not be a success at Chelsea. But the fact that Chelsea have managed to secure 2 talents in Kendry Paez and this Estevao Willian goes some way to saying that, there is ambition. We are serious about signing the best talent. And, I guess it's got to be looked at as a positive thing, that we're managing to sign talents like this because we've never come close to securing young South American talents before. But at the same time, I've got no idea what the plan is, what the integration plan is. how they're going to fit into the team, where they're going to play, if they're going to play. There's a lot of options in these wide and attacking midfield areas. You've got Nkunku, Palmer, Mudryk, Madueke. I mean, Sterling's there now, but I think he'll go. You've got the likes of Chukwuemeka in the attacking midfield roles. There's 6 or 7 individuals at Chelsea already on the books before Paez and before Estevao, Willian even come in. So for me, I'm a little bit confused as to what the plan is. Are Chelsea planning on flipping the likes of Madueke, flipping the likes of Mudryk, or flipping whoever? I really don't know. But what I'm not seeing here is Amari Hutchinson as well. But what I'm not seeing here is what's the plan for these guys. It's all very well securing these top talents, and that's great, and that's exciting for fans and and whatnot. But the most important thing is, have you got a plan for these guys? Is there an integration process into the first team? Is there a pathway there? Who are you going to be looking at moving on to make way for these guys? Because right now, with Paez and obviously Estevao, Willian looking like they're coming in, there's no need to sign any more wide players at all. There simply isn't. There isn't the need for any more wide players. That's the reality of the situation. By the way, guys, big up to everyone that's locked in here. Keep smashing that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new around here as well. It is greatly appreciated. Heading towards 9,000 subscribers, about less than 250 away now. So every new subscriber is greatly appreciated. But keep smashing that thumbs up button, guys. It's free and it takes seconds to do, and it helps out more than you could imagine. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Let's get through a few things. Of course, we also had the Chelsea end of season awards last night. Cole Palmer clearing up. We're gonna dive through that as well. No, what people don't understand here is that this won't go on the books for now. It's not coming until 2025. This is not going to affect us in any way. Again, there's no points deduction coming. Chelsea have not been charged of anything, and B, haven't been found guilty of anything. They've not been charged at all. We are signing Estevao. I know about this kid for many months now. I'm incredibly happy. Even Fraser Fletcher said good work to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I'm not sure. Again, look, we don't want to put pressure on the kid. He's 17 years old. He's 17 years old. Look, a lot can happen in development. Even from 17 to 18, a lot can change. Just because you're very good as a youngster doesn't mean you're going to hit the heights as a senior player. I don't want to put a downer on things, but that just simply isn't the case. It doesn't mean you're going to reach the highs that you're going to keep progressing. You might peak early like a Michael Owen and have your peak years early. I don't know what his development's going to be like, what his ceiling is going to be like. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how he develops and how he pushes on and what the plans are for him at Chelsea. Obviously, Fabrizio, I mean, he's better than Endrick right now. I mean, look, I can't judge, but if that is the case, then that is some praise. I mean, if he's better than Endrick, though, why is he not in the Brazilian squad, or has he been called up to the Brazilian squad? And I've kind of missed that. I'm not sure. Yes, big up. Of course, Hutchinson will be sold pure profit. We're going to dive into that. We need experience, not another kid. I mean, look, summer 25 is going to be interesting, but this summer is so important, so important this summer. Estevao will not play against Blackburn. No, I didn't say I was going to go on loan to the Championship. No, I definitely didn't say that. Yeah, but you just know full well that we're going to keep signing wide players, even though we don't need them. You just know that situations is going to arise. Real Madrid wanted him, and Barcelona says, yes, I think we need him. That said, he is better than Endrick. I mean, I don't know if he's better than Endrick or not. Another right winger that we don't need. Fair enough. I mean, I do hear that. Chelsea are always going to sign players. That's just the reality of the situation under this ownership. It doesn't matter if we don't need them; they're still just going to sign more and more players. But this is why I don't know. When I say I don't know what the plans are, because I don't. Like, I genuinely don't know. Yeah, it's exciting to sign players, but then once that sort of, dopamine hit wears off, you got to be thinking, well, hang on a second. What is the plan here? We're suddenly bulking out the squad with so many options in similar positions. What is the thought process here? Where are these guys going to fit in? Where are they going to play? Who's going to be moved on to make space for them in the squad? Because players are going to have to leave. There isn't space for everyone we've currently got, plus Paez and Estevao, Willian to come in. Like that space in the squad simply isn't there. It simply isn't there. We don't know if Mitchell Madueke will be here when he comes to the club. Look, I think they'll be here next season. Whether they're here the following season, I don't know. Is the honest answer to that? They could kick on and start to really impress, and then we could find ourselves in a bit of a tricky situation. You just don't know at this point in time. Yes, what's up? Good to see we are finally starting to play as a team. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Yes, big up to the dearest Jevel. Respect, mate. Brother, appreciate the donations. Very kind. Thanks for great coverage this year. Big up from Ireland. Yes, big up to all the Chelsea fans in Ireland. Guys, 3 games left this season. The transfer window is going to be coming as well. We've got the Euros. There's going to be so much content coming on the channel this summer, guys. So make sure you stay tuned and you're subscribed. No kids, we need experience. Yeah, but yeah, look, this is not replacing signings. I don't believe this is going to be. This is a signing instead of getting a striker, instead of strengthening areas of the first team that need strengthening. I think this is being looked at as an opportunity that Chelsea feel they can't afford to miss out on. Real Madrid is doing the same thing that we're doing. I mean, look, to be fair, the likes of Madrid and Barcelona, even PSG to an extent, signing young Brazilian talents. They signed Moscardo from Corinthians, who Chelsea were interested in the past. This is not a new thing, scouting South America and securing talents. We've seen it to a lesser degree from Brighton in terms of guys like Enciso, Estupinan. There's a lot of talent in South America, and the South American market is a market which Chelsea have massively neglected. Palmer, Amari, Madueke, Angelo, Diego Moreira, Estevao, Paez. What's the plan? Yeah, no, I absolutely hear it. I absolutely hear it. £32 million plus 32 million euros plus add-ons is a lot of money for a 17-year-old. A lot of money. 32 million euros is what, like 25, 26 million pounds. The add-ons could easily take a deal to around 40, 45 million pounds. We're talking crazy numbers. We're talking crazy numbers here. We really are. We really are. But yeah, look, it's exciting, sure. And look, I think it's absolutely something to look forward to. But I can't come on here and pretend that I know lots about this guy and he's some sort of sensational star boy, because I don't know enough about him. Is the reality of the situation. But it's good that we're looking to secure South American talents. There's no denying that. It's great that we're looking to secure South American talents, but at the same time, we have got a lot of wingers on our books. I wonder if Chelsea are potentially going to go back in for Michael Elise this summer. The interest is reportedly still there. I don't understand. This is what's confusing me. I get it. They want to bring players in and, secure the best talents, and then the best ones will be a success at Chelsea and the others will hopefully do well enough that they can be sold on for a profit. I totally get that. But this high volume player trading, I'm not sure if that's the way forward or not. That's just my honest thoughts on the situation. Zaha 2.0, don't care about kids. Actually, I want actual ready to go talent. I don't know if he's barely played in Palmeiras at all. I haven't kept across it. What else, guys? There's so many things coming in. I will try and get through as many of these as I can. I'm going to have to skip a few and go to the bottom. Remember, you can, of course, guarantee your comment gets read out if you donate using the super chat function. Any donation, of course, is greatly appreciated by myself. And it goes a long way to supporting the channel. We need experience. No, but I think this is what people get confused about, is that this money is not being taken away from first team signings. by all accounts, there's a separate budget for these younger players. This is not part of the first team budget. I think this is where people get confused. This doesn't mean that there's 32 million euros less to spend on the first team in the summer. That's not how this works. There are separate budgets. Finally means no Osimhen or Tony. I don't think it does mean that. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to see Bayern Munich get through, but ultimately, I'm not overly fussed on who goes through. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Are you gutted about not getting Ivan Toney? Well, look, I think, to be honest, I'd come to terms with the fact that we're not going to make a move for Ivan Toney quite some time ago. I still think it would make the most sense, but no, I've come to terms with the fact that that is highly unlikely to happen. Again, we could see Ian Martin win a Champions League. You just don't know. But yeah, this is interesting, that the fact that we are looking to so actively go into this Brazilian market. There's obviously it's a hotbed for talent. There's no denying that. Would we be paying well over the odds for a player of his age? Absolutely. But this market is massively inflated now. It's massively inflated. There's no denying it whatsoever. This will come under an academy signing, I'd imagine, rather than going down as a first team signing. I don't know when it will go on the books, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to go on the latest books. So yeah, I don't know. I just, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one. But there's no denying that we have got so many options in the wide areas, and most of these guys are gonna need to go. Unfortunately, a lot of them are going to need to leave. But look, it's another young talent. We've taken who have we signed from South America? Estevao now, which is getting very close to being done. Angelo, Andre Santos, that's 3. Kendry Paez, 4. There's so many people. There are so many. Which I just don't really know. I just don't know what the plan is here. I mean, look, we did another wide player. I wouldn't be adverse to signing Jack Grealish, but at some point we've just got to stick with what we've got and develop what we've got rather than constantly just adding to the pot. That's what we cannot do. But Chelsea have reached a verbal agreement with Estevao Willian on personal terms. Told initial bid still to be sent, but it will be around £32 million plus add-ons, as talks with Palmeiras will follow. Nothing done yet, but Chelsea remain clear favourites since January. We're going to get on to that. I mean, that's not the plan, but a report from The Athletic today stated that, the possibility of him being sold to the highest bidder, as they put it, can't be ruled out. You can never say never with Chelsea. That is the thing. I mean, yeah, all day long and twice on Sundays. No, it doesn't, which is why I'm suspecting that this might be put down as an academy signing. That's my thought process behind this. I think this might be put down as an academy signing, which means it won't go on the books. And then of course, if they don't go on loan in the next 3 years, after 3 years, they'll then count as homegrown players as well, because they would have done 3 years at the club before the age of 21, which I think is the criteria. That's what I think the criteria is on that front. But yeah, I don't know. Of course, I'm excited. Of course, it's always exciting when new players are linked. But I think the reality is that we don't know how long it's going to take for him to get up to speed. We don't know how good he's even going to be at the football club. We don't know what the plans are for him. So there's a lot of things that need thinking about. There's a lot of things that need thinking about in this. And I just hope that the club have done their due diligence, and I just hope there's a clear development plan. For every Hutchinson who's had a successful loan, there have been multiple development and loan failures. You can't play 5 or 6 right wings in the same team. That's it's more right wing than a UK National Party. We can't be like, we can't do that. We can't neglect this. People, we honestly can't neglect this. By the way, 92 in the building. Big up to every single one of you people that are locked in. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Please run the likes up. I'm trying to get to 9,000 subscribers. We are edging closer and closer. 8,765. I think we can reach 8,770, guys. 5 more subscribers. 94 in the building. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button, people. Breaking news. Chelsea have agreed personal terms with 17-year-old Estevao Willian. But yeah, thumbs up button, guys, would really, really help me. It helps boost the content in the algorithm. The more likes something is, the more it gets pushed by YouTube, the more eyes that get on the channel, and we're all winners. So please hit the thumbs up button. Let's get this to 50 likes ASAP, people. You guys know what to do. Yeah, I think it's really important, that we make sure there's a clear development plan. It's all very well, signing all these players and stuff, but it's a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time and a complete waste of development of a player's career if there's no clear plan, and we're just going to end up hoarding them. That's the problem. That is the problem. Every summer that's going to be a problem. There needs to be a clear development pathway. That's the reality of the situation. I mean, if I just highlight here right now, big up to my guy Matisse. Here is a Chelsea 11 of wingers. Well, not quite actually. Jackson, Moreira, Mudryk, Madueke, Angelo, Paez, Hutchinson, Estevao, Sterling, Palmer. He's put Elise in there, on the off chance we might sign him this summer. But the point remains the same. We have got 10 wide players on the books, or 10 players that can play in the wide positions on the books. Now, Nicholas Jackson will probably play as a centre forward, but it's not the point. Moreira will probably be moved on. But these guys are still all on the books now. We don't know what the plan is for Angelo. Mudryk and Madueke are starting to show signs of promise. We don't know what the plan is for Hutchinson. Sterling, we're going to try and move him on, but his wages are massive. Palmer, we know, is going to stay. And we don't know how good Estevao or Paez are actually going to be. So when I talk about accumulating and hoarding talent in a certain position, this is what I'm going on about. What is the plan here? Where is the pathway for these young guys? Where is it? Because I'm not seeing it, people. I am not seeing the pathway here. I don't understand it. Of course, I'm all for still signing Michael Elise if we can get Raheem Sterling out. But under no circumstances should any wide players be coming in this summer unless another one's gone out the door. I don't want to hear links to any wide players to come in the summer window unless someone is being moved on. I just don't want to hear it because we don't need it. We're overpopulated. We're overpopulated in that area. We really are. Yes, big up. Appreciate. Very kind as always, bro. Very kind as always. So big yourself up. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's certainly interesting, people. It is certainly interesting what's going on here. They honestly haven't got a clue. All they care about is profit. And look, I wouldn't say they don't care about winning because the quickest way to make money is by winning. The ambition's there. I think the execution's been poor at times, but there needs to be a clear development plan. That's my number one point where I'm always going to harp back to. What is the development plan here? Yes, I'm sure there's plans to acquire more clubs within the multi-club model, to buy a club in South America. They've looked at clubs in Portugal, clubs in Germany, so there's more places to send these players on loan. As I said earlier, not all these guys are going to make it at Chelsea. They're simply not. Diego Moreira started in the Carabao Cup against Wimbledon. He went on loan to Lyon. Was recalled in January because it was a disaster. Yeah, we signed him from Benfica B on a free transfer. He's someone that will be flipped for profit because he was bought in on a free. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about, people. This is what I'm talking about. Development plan, clear pathway, and stop hoarding talent. Because right now you can see there, minus Elise, is what the fuck are we doing here? Because there are so many options in those wide areas that we need to find out We need to find out what we're going to do with them. We need to ascertain what we're going to do with them. But look, I'm excited. I'm excited by these incomings. Of course I am. You know, it's always exciting when you sign players, but you know, when the dust settles on this, we need a pathway. Yeah, he has been. Yeah, he has been. But you know, he's still a winger on the books. He was signed by Chelsea. I don't think it's prioritizing over. I think, you know, you can work on both at the same time. I don't see it as being one, as a situation as one over the other. Oh yeah, of course we've got Dujon Whisper Richards as well that he's missed out. You know, there's Whisper Richards as well. Yeah, there's loads. There's absolutely loads. Oh yeah, he has been, because he's obviously not of the required quality. But this is my point here. This is my point. It's all very well and good signing these guys, but ultimately, unless there's a clear development plan in place so these guys can reach the potential that they've obviously got, then it is a complete and utter waste of time to make all these signings. That's my honest views on the situation. Is that it's a waste of time unless we make it clear that there's an actual somewhere for these guys to progress. You know, obviously the deal's not wrapped up yet. We're obviously the favourites for his signature. A bid is believed to be £27.5 million plus add-ons. Yeah, it's exciting. Paez and this guy obviously are two of the biggest talents in South America. That doesn't mean you're going to transfer. That doesn't mean that transfers to the Premier League. That doesn't mean they're going to fully reach their potential. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. It's exciting. Both of them are going to be at Chelsea in 2025. It's a guy called Alisson Marins who leads the Chelsea scouting department in Brazil, and apparently he's been highlighting Estevao to the recruitment team for a while. At some point, we do have to trust these guys. At some point, we have to trust these guys that, you know, they're good at their job and they know what they're doing. You know, I don't think we can constantly pick holes in recruitment decisions. At some point, we've got to trust the people in charge, trust the scouts, trust the talent spotters that they know what they're doing, and then we go from there and we see what happens. Because ultimately, yes, I've got my doubts over it. Of course I do. But the reality for me is that we need to start believing in what we're doing. Of course, I'm always going to raise doubts where I see fit. You know, am I concerned about the amount of talent we're hoarding? Absolutely. You know, am I concerned about a lack of a development pathway? Absolutely. But at the same time, I think it's exciting that we're showing that ambition. We're working in a market where we've notoriously been poor over the years and missed out on a lot of top talents to other European clubs. And if you get it right, you can sign some potentially very, very good players for what will end up being an absolute bargain. That's the reality of the situation. So it's absolutely a good market to tap into. For me personally, I just have a few things, a few reservations, a few things that, yeah, I am slightly concerned about. That's all I'm saying. You know, is Kendry Paez going to play in a right-sided midfield role with Estevao on the right wing, and they're going to both team up like that? You know, yes, of course, it's great that, you know, we've beaten the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona to these young talents. You know, in years gone by, they would have both ended up at one of those clubs. But it's good. As I said, it's good we're tapping into that market. But I also have my worries. So yeah, Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Estevao Willian. For a final bid is expected to arrive soon, £27.5 million plus add-ons to Palmeiras. And then once the deal goes through, it will be a case of him joining up in the summer of 2025 when he turns 18, and him and Kendry Pires will both join in the summer of 2025. Before we move on, let's see what people are saying in the chat. I think there's definitely a part of that could well be in play. I don't think there's any denying that, that Chelsea are scared of missing out on players. I really don't think that's a surprise at all. I pray Cole Palmer doesn't hand in the transfer request. No, he's not going to do that at all. I'm a bit worried about this summer transfer window. I don't feel confident. Yeah, this summer is massively kind of heading into the unknown. It's the fourth window of the supposed four-window plan. And it's massive. Whatever business we do this summer is going to dictate, I think, the future of the club over the next sort of 12 to 18 months. It's that important. If we keep doing what we've been doing in the window and not adding what we need to add, then it's going to be a long road. It's going to be a long road back to the top. But if we add what we need, then next season can be a lot more competitive than perhaps we might think. And that's the most important thing. Let's be honest, this is not the player profile we would need, but definitely an insane talented player. Yeah, look, it's absolutely. If you look at Chelsea and you say, do Chelsea need a right-sided player? Absolutely not. Have they taken the view that this guy is of such a talent that we can't afford to miss out on him? That is the view that they've clearly taken. There's no denying that. That is the view that they've clearly taken on this one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting to see what happens. But that's the view that they've clearly taken, guys. That is the view that's been taken. Yeah, no, of course it is. Of course it is. And I don't know what the direct success rate of going straight from South America to the Premier League is. I'd have to look into it. We need to get a Spanish club or Serie A club. Well, let's wait and see what happens. Madness means sale of homegrown players. Yep, it does, unfortunately. That's the reality of the situation. It does mean that, the homegrown players are going to be sold off. What's also a madness is 105 in the building. Big up for the numbers. Only 50 likes. Come on, people. Let's move this up. Let's move it up. And please subscribe as well, guys. None of us are confident in this ownership. No, I respect the ambition. I'm just not confident in them executing it in the right way. They want to copy Real with their Vinny and Rodrigo signings. Yeah, look, I think there's absolutely a case of looking at those clubs and citing those examples. 100%. 100%. Let's hope Estevao turns into like Rodrigo. Let's just hope he reaches the potential and fulfills the talent that he does have. If he does that and he turns out being a player like a Rodrigo or a player like a Vinicius Jr., then absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic for us. No denying it. Can't split Elise and Eze. They are bonded. I mean, out of the two, I'll definitely take Elise. Do you think this summer is going to be big for Chelsea and these owners? Yep, absolutely massive. I think it's one of the most important summers the club have had in a number of years. One of the most important. Guys, there's so much stuff coming in. I will get to all this. Yep, I absolutely agree on that. If Joe Shields signed off on it, and then I'm happy. I don't know if he's had anything to do with it. I don't know if he's part of that scouting department in Brazil or if he's gone and watched the player at all. I don't really know. The owners have said these young players are bought from a completely different budget to the first team. Yeah, I've mentioned that before. I mentioned that earlier. The people. This is a separate budget. This is not taken away from the first team budget. That absolutely is not the case. That is not the case at all. Not the case at all. What else have we got going on? Do you think we'll get a striker in the summer? Yes, I do believe we'll get a striker in the summer. Who's it going to be? I don't know. We're going to come into that in a sec. Who would I sign if I was in charge? I would sell Raheem Sterling and bring Michael Elise into the club. I would sign Ivan Toney as a centre forward. And then in terms of the left back situation, I would keep Trevor Chalobah. I probably wouldn't bring another centre half in because I don't think we need one. I would just keep Chalobah. And then as a left back, I don't know the left back market particularly well. But yeah, my main signings would be Ivan Toney and who did I say? And Michael Elise, and sell Raheem Sterling. Yes, big up, big up. I think they'll go on loan. Fair enough. Do you think we're going to get Osimhen since we contacted him first? Look, I don't think just because we supposedly contacted him first that's actually going to make any difference to his final decision. A lot of factors will be considered, and yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. It absolutely is going to be a tricky one. But let's move away from this Estevao Willian stuff. I just wanted to quickly move on to the Amari Hutchinson situation. And then we're going to move on to Victor Osimhen, people. So plenty of transfer news still to go through. Feels like summer has come early. You know, with the weather outside in the UK, 20 plus degrees today. Transfer news, it does very much feel like the summer, but there's still 3 games left of the season. So Chelsea are set to discuss Amari Hutchinson's future with the players' camp after he won Young Player of the Season at Ipswich with 11 goals and 6 assists in all competitions. New loan is a concrete possibility with Premier League, Eredivisie and Bundesliga clubs keen. Ipswich still hoping to keep Omari at the club. Now, I've stated a number of times that I think the best thing for Hutchinson is to give him a new contract, send him back on loan to Ipswich, an environment that he knows he's going to play regular Premier League football, and see how he does in this league. That is going to be the next step for him and his development. There's absolutely no denying that, and that would be the right thing to do. But the Athletic have also reported that Chelsea have told Hutchinson to report to Cobham next week, and he's going to be assessed by Mauricio Pochettino in training before discussing the next steps for his future. Now, for me, I think it makes sense to remain in the Premier League. The move that makes the most sense is another season on loan at Ipswich, an environment that he knows, and a team that he knows that he's going to get regular minutes in. That's the reality of that situation for me. Having said that, I do think even if the plan is to return to Ipswich, I think it could be a good idea for Hutchinson to go on the pre-season tour. You know, get to know the squad a bit better, integrate the squad. Get some minutes under his belt in the team, and also a chance for him to make an impression and show what he can do. Because right now, I don't think many people know. I don't think many people know what he's about, what he can do. I don't think he knows an awful lot of the squad at this point in time. So yeah, I think that would be the best thing to do. However, the Athletic did also add that Chelsea need to sell to help comply with PSR, with profit and sustainability rules, and to also fund new signings. Therefore, the possibility of selling Hutchinson to the highest bidder also can't be ruled out. And this again goes back to my previous point. You know, we picked up Hutchinson on a free transfer from Arsenal. He's made 2 appearances for the first team. He's had a brilliant loan spell. But for every successful loan spell like his, there are multiple others that have failed and have stalled player development. So, yeah, this is going to be a tricky one. You know, this is going to be a tricky one. I think for me, the obvious solution here is give this guy a new contract. But you know, he's proven himself to be a very capable performer in the Championship. Which, let's be real, people, the Championship is a very, very difficult league to perform in. You know, it's a very difficult league to perform in, and the fact that he's is going to go into that league and perform is a big plus. It's a big tick in his column, and I just don't get going forward. I think he's going to have a big say in that. I think I agree. Hutchinson back to Ipswich makes the most sense. He made a really good impression there. It's an environment that he knows. Familiar environment is really important for young players, and to play regular Premier League football is absolutely the next step for him to take in his career. There's no denying that whatsoever. That is absolutely the next step for him to take. Any other steps don't really make sense to me. I don't think it would be right for him to go and play in Holland, to go and play in Germany. Another Premier League club, Potentially, but there's got to be the opportunity to play on a regular basis. And I'm just not sure what other clubs he would play at regularly in the Premier League. Of course, it depends on the quality, maybe teams that come up. But yeah, I think it absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense for him to be offered a new contract, protect his value, because you're not going to get much for him with 1 year left on his deal. But if you offer him a new contract, that protects his value. And he has a season on loan in the Premier League and he does well, there's an opportunity to sell for at least 15, 20 million pounds, which would be a big profit for the club, considering they signed him on a free transfer. So, yeah, for me, I think Chelsea are actually treating a young player in the right way, calling him back to the club. Pochettino is going to take a look at him in training, and then the discussion is going to be taken about what steps should be taken next. That is absolutely the right way to go about treating a young player. And, I'm just glad to see that we finally seem to be getting there with our treatment of youngsters, because that hasn't always been the case. So the fact that, Hutchinson could have gone off on holiday and reported back for pre-season because his season's finished, the fact that the club want to call him back to training is, that's a huge tick plus, a huge tick in my book. And it means that, they're clearly impressed with what he's done, and they want Pochettino to have a closer look at him before deciding what the next step to take is going to be. So yeah, that's just the latest on Hutchinson. But again, the Athletic adding that, it's possible that he can't be a sale can't be ruled out. I want to try and get to an Ipswich away game next season. Yeah, I want to get to Ipswich away, new ground to tick off, all that good stuff. That's what we're looking to do, people. That's what we're about. Sign Omari to a new contract, let him go on loan to Ipswich again for another year. Already, yep. Get Elise, loan Amari to Palace. Yeah, again, maybe if something like that, a deal like that was, if we were looking at Elise, maybe a deal like that would make sense. Crystal Palace could be good for his development. But again, Ipswich, I think right now have got to be the lead runners for me. Again, it depends what other teams enter the race. But that is the latest on Amari Hutchinson. Brilliant loan spell in the Championship. He wants to go back to Ipswich next season. He's going to be called back into Cobham next week, going to be assessed in training by Pochettino. And then we are going to go from there and see what the plan is. But as things stand right now, for me, new contract, return to Ipswich next season, see what you can do in the Premier League, and then we can decide a bit more long-term after that. I just wanted to bring an update on a little bit more news on Estevao, Willian, and the finances involved. Let me just find it now. Is this it here? Yeah. So Chelsea prefers to pay slightly more than the 55 million euro release clause for Estevao Willian, so they can have the deal structured. It could be a 32 million euro fee plus 25 million in add-ons, which means 57 million euros in total, which is 2 million more than the release clause. Chelsea are working hard with Palmeiras and they are advancing. He's close to joining Chelsea. So again, we've seen this tactic before. I think we saw it with Enzo Fernandez. We paid slightly more than the release clause so that we could structure the deal in more favourable payment terms to ourselves. We saw it with Nicholas Jackson. We paid slightly a couple of million more than the release clause to structure a deal in more favourable terms for us. And it seems that we're going to be doing the same thing again. I must say, 57 million euros for a 17-year-old kid, which is about 50 million quid. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty steep. 50 million for a 17-year-old seems like a mad deal. I mean, obviously, I understand there's a release clause. Maybe it wouldn't cost that much without one. Managed to get Kendry Piers for about 17 million pounds, but even that for a 16-year-old is extortionate. Obviously, the plan is clearly for him to be part of the first team at some point. Whether that means he's going to go straight into the first team, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, whether that means he's going to go straight in or not. But yeah, when does the transfer window open? I think it officially opens on July the 1st. I think that's the official opening of the transfer window. I don't want any more of these kids. We have enough as it is. No, I do tend to agree on that point. I won't have so much of an issue of this as long as we make sure that we address what we need to address in the summer. If we don't, then yeah, I'm not going to be particularly happy with the situation. Oh, I've forgotten as well. We had David Washington as well that we signed from South America. I don't really know. I don't really know what's. I don't know what's going on in regards to his situation as well. Yeah, it's a little bit of a crazy one. A little bit of a crazy one, to say the least. But yeah, it's a lot of money to spend. A lot of money to spend. Thomas Tuchel returning to Premier League is very much on. Chelsea are not interested. Tuchel wants the Man United job. David Ornstein reported that earlier today when he was on Sky. Tuchel wants the Man United job. So if Tuchel's offered the Man United job, he will take it. That's the reality of the situation. You know, that is the reality of the situation. Apparently, Estevao Willian has accepted the Chelsea project and salary, and everything is ready on that side. So this deal is very much close to reaching its conclusion. Guys, 107 in the building. Big up to every single one of you locked in. Only 68 likes, though. Come on, guys. I think we can reach 100 likes tonight. Make sure you smash the like button. 30 more likes to go. So thumbs up button. Give that a hit. And please hit the subscribe button as well, guys. Please hit that subscribe button as well. On 8,769. One more required to hit 8,770. There's definitely one out of the 110 people that hasn't pressed the subscribe button. So get down below, hit that subscribe button. Help me out, people. But yeah, thumbs up, people. It's free and it massively helps. But anyway, let's move on to the Victor Osimhen stuff, because there's been a report from Italy, and again, we're going to take this with a pinch of salt because, you know, every summer swap deals are cited, and yet they never happen. And people constantly get excited about the prospect of one happening, but it never does. And I think this is probably going to be a similar situation. But according to Italian journalist Daniele Longo, I think Napoli owner Aurelio De Laurentiis wants the release clause. Of course he does. That's why it's in there. You've got to pay the release clause, which is between 120 and 130 million euros for Victor Osimhen. However, with Chelsea, he is open to a negotiation which includes Romelu Lukaku. The new sporting director, Mana, is already working on this operation. Now, I've got no idea whether that's true or not. But what I must say in the race of Victor Osimhen, and what potentially gives us a one-up on PSG, on Arsenal, who are also reportedly interested in the player, is the fact that we have got a bit of a trump card in Romelu Lukaku. Now, obviously, Lukaku, before he went on loan to Roma last summer, was it in the summer or was it in January? Last summer, I think it was. Yeah, before he went on loan to Roma last summer, they negotiated an exit clause in the contract, which means that he can leave for 37 or 38 million pounds, which, you know, is not too bad. You know, he's still going to get, you know, a decent chunk of cash for Chelsea. Now, Napoli, if they do sell Osimhen, which is looking likely, are going to be looking for a new centre forward. Now, we could help them with Lukaku. Now, I don't know what offers Lukaku is going to have. I don't know what offers Lukaku is going to have this summer. Would he be open to staying in Italy? I'm sure he would. I know for sure that Lukaku will 100% have offers from Saudi Arabia, but I don't know what offers he may have from Europe. You know, he's got the Euros this summer as well. If he has a good Euros as well and has following on from a good loan at Roma, you know, better possibilities might open up. You know, Napoli would be a strong possibility for him. You know, he replaced Osimhen, he'd obviously go and play there. But yeah, I'm slightly unsure on on how possible this actually is. As I said, how many times since Todd Bowley's taken over have we been linked with swap deals? How many times? How many times have we been linked with swap deals? So many times we've been linked with swap deals. And yet they never happen, guys. They never happen. So I'm taking this with a Salt Bay pinch of salt here, a massive pinch of salt on this. Look, even if this is, even theoretically, this is obviously a possibility, but the reality of the situation is it's highly, highly unlikely, in my view. PSG are obviously going to be keen to get him as well. The fact, though, it's been reported, and again, I don't know how true, but the fact that he's already played in Lille and he's already played in France before, might count against PSG. I'm not sure if he wants a return to the French league. Osimhen is known to want to try the Premier League. That doesn't mean automatically Chelsea. Arsenal are also interested. I mean, if Arsenal, God forbid, were to win the Premier League, there's Champions League football and whatnot. That suddenly becomes a very attractive proposition to Osimhen. Yes, of course, Drogba's been speaking to him, Mikel's been speaking to him. Chelsea have got a rich history of African players, and that will count for something. Of course it will. But the reality is, if he's potentially faced with a possibility of playing for a top club in England, which Arsenal are right now, and we aren't at this point in time, or and play Champions League and whatnot, or the possibility of joining a team that is on the up, but you don't know how long it's going to take to get back there, and you might be playing Europa League or Conference League next season, then I think the choice is kind of obvious in my view. That's the reality of the situation, in my opinion, guys. So look, Osimhen, there isn't really much more movement on that deal, on any deal at the moment. Obviously, I'm sure there's been contact between Chelsea and Osimhen's camp, but the reality is, people, that a swap deal involving Lukaku, whilst in theory sounds possible, and whilst in theory seems like that'd be a great idea. That gives us a bit of a trump card. It doesn't necessarily make sense in my mind. That's just the reality of the situation for me. Doesn't really make sense. I can't see it happening. I cannot see a situation happening where we manage to get less than the release clause for Osimhen because we're going to involve Lukaku in a deal. I know it would make sense for Napoli because it means they get a striker, but do Napoli actually want Lukaku? Would they rather just have the money and go and bring in someone else who they want? These are all questions that we need to that we need to find out the answers to, that we don't know the answers to right now. For me personally, I've said that if given the choice, Osimhen wouldn't be my choice. If he signs for the club, am I going to hate it? No, I'm not going to hate it. Am I going to support him and get behind it? Absolutely. But I just feel personally, he's not the best option for us. I feel personally that, there are better fits for Chelsea out there, i.e. an Ivan Toney or a Victor Gyökeres at this point in time. But having said that, I think Osimhen could do well at Chelsea. He's clearly, I think he's clearly the priority target. There's been a lot of noise surrounding Benjamin Sesko as well, and I could 100% see the club signing him. I could 100% see the club signing him. It'd be the sort of move that they would look to do, in my opinion. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one, people. It is gonna be an interesting one. Yeah, potentially. That could potentially happen, but you could also end up with Gareth Southgate, so you can hold that as well. But yeah, your club is mudded and finished. Absolutely finished. Bunch of bums at Old Trafford this year. Bunch of bums. What do you think happens to David Fofana? That is a good question. I suspect he goes on another loan. A full season in the Premier League, I think would be the option there, or potentially the Championship. Maybe the Championship. Maybe he does a full season at Burnley if they go down. That could absolutely be a possibility. Tony's only scored 3, but he has been banned for half the season. Yeah, he's going for a bit of a poor spell at the moment. If it's a choice between Sesko and Osimhen, obviously I'm gonna take Victor Osimhen all day. Of course I am. Yeah, he'd be open to taking the job. Of course he would, because his stock is not high after the Bayern situation. Of course, it could be if they win the Champions League. And yeah, he wants to return to England, and there's not many jobs available out there right now. But you've got shit players, so that's not really going to make too much difference when the playing staff you've got are nowhere near good enough. That is the reality of the situation. Tuchel coming back to Chelsea is just a no on all levels. On all levels. In my opinion, that time's been and gone. He didn't want to be. He just wanted to focus on the football. This ownership want a manager that's more involved in the more collaborative approach, involved in other things as well. If Southgate comes, if Southgate turns up at United, I'll be absolutely head over heels, absolutely delighted. Yeah, there's a possibility there. There is absolutely a possibility that could happen. Again, I don't know if AC Milan could afford his salary. I think he absolutely, would be on the more expensive then for them. Look, Tuchel wants Man United. He wants a Man United job, but A, that doesn't mean he's going to get it. B, it doesn't mean he's going to be offered it. And C, it doesn't mean they're going to sack Ten Hag. Look, Ineos need to sack Ten Hag, but I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will. But that's the latest on Victor Osimhen. I cannot see that happening. In my personal opinion, I can't see it happening. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just the reality of the situation. In my opinion. What else have we got? Let's move away from that. Just another couple of other bits and pieces to go through, people. We had the Chelsea end of season awards last night. And as you can imagine, Cole Palmer cleaned up. He won the Players' Player of the Year and the Chelsea Player of the Year. And he just said to get the vote from the supporters on top of that is also really special. It's why we play. We play for the fans. To win both of them is an amazing feeling. And there he is, cold as ice, Cole Palmer, clearing up at the end of season awards. Fair play. What did you think when Rafael Benitez was? Look, we won the Europa League. We played some all right football. Obviously, it wasn't a popular appointment, and yeah, it was. To be fair, it was quite a surprising appointment. It wasn't an appointment that I'd look at as. It was not an appointment I'd look at as being a as being a Roman type of appointment. But yeah, we did win the Europa League. We played some okay football, but yeah, he was never accepted by the fans for obvious reasons. But yeah, Cole Palmer cleaning up at the end of the season awards last night, as expected, a phenomenal season. Let's see what else is going on. There was a couple of other things that I was going to go through briefly, people. What else is there? There are some other bits and pieces. There was something about the end of season meeting with Pochettino and the hierarchy in terms of obviously we got news that Hakim Ziyech, of course, I forgot about that. Hakim Ziyech will make his move to Galatasaray permanent. Yeah, Ziyech to join Galatasaray permanently at the end of the season as his obligation to buy has been triggered. Turkish sources insist there's no fee, but there's potential to earn bonuses based on future performance. This was the deal where it was a loan with an obligation to buy for nothing. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know. I don't know the ins and outs of the deal, but yeah, a loan with an obligation to purchase for no fee. So yeah, I don't quite understand what the thinking is behind that process. But yeah, Hakim Ziyech will not return to Chelsea. His move to Galatasaray will become permanent, and there's a possibility that Chelsea could earn some money from it on bonuses, depending on how well he performs. But Hakim Ziyech's Chelsea career is over, finito. He will join Galatasaray permanently at the end of the season as the obligation to buy for nothing has been triggered. There was something else that I wanted to get into to round out, and that was about, as I said, about the end of season meeting. This was it here. Let me just bring this up on the screen. There's our consider reporting how Chelsea is trying to stop the run of injuries. Individual training programs, improving sleep and recovery, and advanced monitoring. Belief that there is light at the end of the tunnel amid a season of fitness worries. So let's go through this quickly. Mauricio Pochettino wants Chelsea's extensive injury problems factored into the post-season talks that will determine his future at Chelsea. He remains in the dark over his future, which will be decided in a meeting between the coaching staff, Bowley, Eghbali, and directors Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. The Argentine's position is vulnerable should Chelsea miss out on European qualification. Injuries will be a major item on the agenda in the discussions, and Pochettino wants them to be taken into consideration should he be deemed to have underperformed. Pochettino has never had fewer than 6 players out injured at one time in his managerial career, but has now been without up to 14 at the height of an ongoing injury crisis, which began before he took over. Pochettino is expected to detail how he was aware of potential issues after mapping his players' injury record before taking the job. He attempted to rectify the low fitness levels of players not used to the demands of the Premier League and those lacking from a chaotic last season through a rigorous pre-season fitness program in the United States, which included a series of grueling running tests. Again, that's something that Lampard highlighted when he came in about how unfit the players were. That's something that is absolutely Lampard also highlighted. Not sure what was going on under Graham Potter, but the players weren't fit. But there was already an awareness that Chelsea couldn't play at the same intensity that Pochettino's Spurs and Southampton teams had in the past. Despite an approach that includes detailed personal programs and monitoring to improve injury prevention, Chelsea have suffered significant injury problems for the 3rd season running. Poch has been repeatedly asked whether the club medical staff have underperformed, but refused to blame any individuals at the club. There is believed to be a good relationship between the coaching staff and medical staff who have taken pride in players such as Jackson, Caicedo, Gallagher, and Palmer being able to deliver full campaigns. There remains plans to bring in a hamstring injury specialist, but the medical department is increasingly settled after replacing more than half the staff last season. Chelsea have, however, advised for a new head of performance medicine after the former one left. So, yeah, that's basically a little update on that. What I would say in regards to... I'm happy with Estevao deal. Hope he can be like Vinny Jr. type of influence, but our owners are definitely pedos. I mean, fair enough. It's kind of hard to argue against that, I suppose, in some sense. Seeing Timo Werner in a Championship hasn't worked out. Decent player, but the Premier League isn't for him. Yeah, potentially. Don't like Poch, never will. To be honest, I think there's positive signs, appearing. I think, look, this upturn in form hasn't just been the last 2 games, like a lot of people are saying. Since the turn of the year, only Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal have scored more points than us. So, yeah, we have improved massively in the second half of the season. So, yeah, that's the reality on that one. But yeah, what I would say is, right, And this is, I think this is what Gab Marcotti said, a very good journalist, big fan of him. I think he said it on an Alex Goldberg show, that, it's ridiculous that Chelsea would be deciding Pochettino's future based on whether he finishes 6th, 7th, or 8th. That shouldn't be the criteria for a manager staying or going. The criteria for staying or going should be, are we seeing signs of progress? Is he taking this team forward? Are the team improving under him? If you're ticking those boxes, then the manager should stay. You shouldn't be looking at keeping a manager based on a numerical position in the table. So he keeps his job if he finishes 7th, but if he comes 8th, he loses it. It's a ridiculous way, and in my opinion, an absolutely ridiculous way to operate as a football club. It just strikes me as stupid. It just strikes me as stupid, Ultimately, a decision on his future should be based on whether there's been improvements, whether the team are heading in the right direction, and, what the players think of the manager, and all those things need to be taken into account. And rather than just saying, if you finish 6th, you stay. If you finish 7th or 8th, then you might go. There's got to be a more nuanced way of thinking, than is apparent at the football club right now. There really does need to be a more nuanced way of thinking, because you can't just attach a numerical position to a manager's future. Ultimately, as I've said, guys, if Pochettino has shown signs of improvement, if the team are getting better, if there are signs that, with the right players added, with key players returning from injury, that, we can be a better side, then it makes sense, in my view, for him to stay. I did a video on this yesterday. At some point, Chelsea fans have got to snap out of this shiny object syndrome, where they just constantly want to chop and change. Oh, so-and-so's the next up-and-coming name. Let's get him. Oh, he's not worked out after half the season. Oh, let's get someone else now. At some point, you have to back a manager through a difficult period of time. It's not about lowering standards. It's not about accepting less. The reality is that we are where we are because that's how good we are right now. But there are signs of progress. And the fact is that we would be, in my opinion, we'd be 5th in the table right now, pushing Aston Villa for 4th, had the majority of our players been fit for the season. I do really believe that. The fact that the likes of Reece James, Lavia, Nkunku, and Wesley Fofana are going to feel like new signings next season bodes really well. Bodes really well. I think I don't agree with that, because other players would have signed someone else probably, and other players would have stepped up and contributed in a certain way. Plus, I also don't really buy into this argument, because I get that, you can say, the reality is we do have him. You can say that about anyone. So and so without, Man United without Bruno Fernandes this season would be even shitter. Yeah, but they do have him, so it's for me, it's a weak argument in my view. Yes, would we be worse off? Probably, when you take away his contributions, but others would have stepped up, and we don't know what would have happened. Yeah, and that's fine. People can have their opinions, but it's not, for me. It's not in the club's best interests whatsoever to be entertaining something like that. But yeah, obviously, it's nice to see that the club are trying to do are doing something about those injury problems. But it doesn't make it any better in terms of the fact that we've suffered so badly this season. And you know what? It potentially has cost us a top 4 finish, because we're going to end up not a million miles away from the top 4. I would say the injury crisis. Of course, Pochettino has not done well enough over the course of the season in large parts of it. But I think the injury crisis, in my opinion, has genuinely cost us a top 5 finish. I think it really has. I mean, yes, of course, you could say draws with Sheffield United and Burnley potentially have cost us a top 5 finish. But I think over the course of the season, I do truly believe that the injury crisis has cost us a top 5 finish. I think it really has. Yes, evening. Hope you're doing well, bro. I mean, recently we've been seeing more players scoring as well. Yep, we've definitely improved attacking wise. Defensively, over the last couple of games, we've tightened up. We've not conceded in our last two, despite the fact that we've had a horrendous defensive record this season, conceding a club record amount of goals in the Premier League. But yeah, things. There are aspects of the team that have improved, and I think for where we're at right now, and with the managers that are available and that have been linked with the job, the shortlist is getting less and less now because managers are announcing they're going to be staying at their clubs. So yeah, that's, for me, it doesn't make any sense to be getting rid of the gaffer. It really doesn't, in my view. But next season, with a full fit squad, do you think Chelsea do well? I think we do a lot better. I think the narrative will start to change around Chelsea next season, providing we hit the ground running, make the right signings in the summer, and keep players fit. I think we will improve a lot, and the narrative surrounding the club will start to change, as it should. They have. I don't think so. I fancy us to continue our form and beat Forest. I don't think we'll lose that game. That's going to be a real test going away to a team that are fighting for their lives in the division. But I think we can win that. But yeah, people, I am going to round this one out now. I just want to leave a final thought on this whole situation. The Estevao, Willian signing and whatnot. And the reality is that people's theories of how well signings could do versus the actual reality, has been a consistent diversion, on people's expectations. What does a great career need? Needs in great environments, and it needs leadership. Very, very few talents rise above a poor environment and a lack of leadership and don't get impacted by that. Absolutely, Kendry Pires and Estevao Willian are exciting prospects. But hand on heart, I don't think many fans can seriously claim that they're over 50% certain that these guys will succeed, because none of us really know. None of us really know. No one can sit here and say they're at least more than 50% confident these signings will succeed. That's the reality of the situation, people. So I just want to leave you there with that thought. But yeah, big up to everyone that's locked in. Big numbers tonight. Greatly appreciated as always. Please smash that like button on the way out. Let's get this to over 100 likes. I think we need 4 more or something like that. Yeah, 5 more likes, guys, to hit 100. So smash that like button on the way out. Please hit the subscribe button on your way out as well. Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Estevao Willian, the 17-year-old Palmeiras talent. A deal is expected to be concluded soon. That is the main breaking news from today. So please smash the thumbs up button on the way out. Please hit that subscribe button below. Big up to everyone for the support as always. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be back tomorrow with a Nottingham Forest preview. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. But otherwise, guys, big yourselves up. Smash the like, subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.